All right, folks, welcome to another edition of From the Bottom Up. And we got a request on this edition here. Was requested by Mr. Ted V. Mock. Came across our mailbox here. And we are going to rank, obviously, from what you saw in the subtitle here, Genesis Abacab, which came out September 24th, 1981 in the U.S. on Atlantic Records. It was a double platinum album, peaking at number 7. The album was produced by Genesis and was the follow-up to Duke, and was the first album to reach the top 10 in the US. And this is the first Genesis album to do that. But it left its fan base with mixed reactions, and that is something you will see as we go further here. The cover art on the album is designed by English artist Bill Smith. And the album consists of 9 tracks, of which there were more that were recorded for the album. Okay, so the additional songs include there was 3 songs that were released on the EP, 3 by 3, Paper Late, You Might Recall, and Me and Virgil, which also ended up being on their live album, Three Sides Live as well. Um, so 2 other songs were also recorded, which were Namin Nanu and Submarine, which were originally part of the 4-song suite with Dodo and Lurker. They were released as B-sides on the album's singles. So that's what we got for this album. So we're only going to obviously rank the main album here. And here we go. Starting off with we feel what is the weakest song on the album. Working our way up to the top here. First one, and we got, unfortunately, this time around goes to Who Done It. And this is a song that I didn't really know the fan base was so up in arms with this this song, as I always heard it before, and I don't know, I didn't have a problem with it. It's just that out of the rest of the songs on the album here, it just doesn't stand out as good as the rest of the album. So Who Done It is where we start off with here. Quirky song does not fit with the rest of the album. I think that's the one reason why I don't think it fit in well. The hypnotic, manic song takes the band in another direction that they never explored again, thankfully. Um, I wouldn't say it's a bad song. It's definitely different for them. And at the time, it definitely alienated a lot of the fan base. So there we have it. Who Done It at number 9. For number 8, yep, let me have it, folks. Unfortunately, this song for me, the horns killed it, and it sounds more like a Phil Collins solo song. So what I have at number 8 is none other than No Reply at All, sadly enough, which I know many people like this song. And I don't know, for me, I'm not saying I hate it, but it's just not exactly what I was hoping for. Um, I just thought for sure that it definitely sounds like it was heading over to the Phil Collins solo era, as they used the horns from Earth, Wind, and Fire in it. It did okay on the charts, obviously, peaking in at number 29. That's not too bad for that time of frame of the era there. Was one of their, better charting performances up to that point. But yeah, unfortunately to me, I just not a big fan of that song, so that's where I got it at number 8. Number 7, got the album Closer, and that's another record. I would say an interesting song to end the album on, pretty much putting a cap on what many call the last decent Genesis album, compared to the 70s Genesis. And, a lot of people feel it was all downhill from there, um, as they went more mainstream, more pop, however you want to slice it. Although they had brief moments and highlights on the latter albums, nothing definitely more of a pop direction. Nobody can argue that point, and they just weren't quite as good. Um, for the people who really, who were the fans who were there from the beginning. A lot of them just felt slighted by the band by going in this pop direction, safe direction, whatever you want to call it. And they feel that Phil should have kept his pop stuff on his solo albums if he wanted to do that, and let the band still play the progressive style that they were used to. But music changes. I mean, don't get me wrong. There's a lot of good songs. The band had a lot of good songs after this album, but they're just not as powerful and long-lasting impression-wise as that earlier music. When they had all those great songs, and it's just a shame. Number seven, another record. Six is Dodo Lurker. The combination makes it the longest song on the album and takes one on quite a music journey. Um, obviously we just mentioned that there were two other songs that were supposed to be part of the suite, that were released as singles. So this is definitely one of the highlights on the album. It's worth listening to. That's our take on it. Dodo Lurker coming in at number six. And that's going to take us down to our number five, which pretty much is the only song on this album that takes a nod to the past. Um, it's got some elements in there, gives you a little bit of a reminder where they came from, and it's pretty much the only song that does that. A strange ditty full of surprises written by Banks, and that's none other than Me and Sarah Jane. Definitely a highlight and something that at least it gave a bone to at least some of the fans that were there from since the beginning. So Me and Sarah Jane at number five. Number four, we've got Man on the Corner. This one was written by Phil himself, peaked at number 40 on the singles charts, and from all accounts, they say it was a nightmare to play live, so it wasn't played live too much. Um, but yeah, decent song. We used to get a lot of that airplay up by us in Buffalo on 97 Rock, and definitely was a pretty cool tune. So Man on the Corner at number four. Number three, it's probably definitely one of the highlights on the album drumming wise, and that is none other than Keep It Dark, which was released as the second single from Abacab in just the UK. Um, so Keep It Dark, definitely one of the highlights, and that's what we got at number three. Number two, Abacab, which peaked at number 26. Title track was played on numerous tours. It was rehearsed for the 2007 tour, but never played. And I really love the extended ending compared to the single version. Definitely a great song. It's definitely one of the true highlights of the album. Abacab, definitely a must listen here. And that leaves us with one song, as you probably guessed. If you watched our ranking of the Genesis songs, you've seen this song really high on my list, and it's none other than Like It or Not. Hands down, um, the best song on the album, written by Mike Rutherford, lands on our top song. And it's just one of those dynamic tracks that kicks in as it keeps moving right along there. Love Phil's vocal on it, great drumming, great musicianship. Overall, this song has never gotten stale. Just a great song from beginning to end. And that is number one. So to run down real quick, nine, Who Done It? Eight, No Reply at All. Seven, Another Record. Six, Dodo Lurker. Five, Me and Sarah Jane. Four, Man on the Corner. Three, Keep It Dark. Two, Abacab. And number one, Like It or Not. And once again, this one was requested by Ted V. Mock. If you want to request us an album to do from the bottom up, definitely just drop us a line, mention it in the comments. We'll be more than happy to see what we can do to accommodate. And this is Joseph signing off until the next episode.